Let's get back to the breaking news that we're following this morning. A grand jury has indicted a Franklin County deputy in the shooting death of Casey Goodson. Our Jackie Roscoe is live and on your side at the Franklin County Courthouse. Jackie, you have been going through a lot of documents. What have you learned new this morning?
Yeah, bear with us, guys. A lot of information. It's just very windy right now outside. So that former Franklin County deputy has now been officially indicted in the death of the Casey Goodson case. Now, a grand jury charged 44-year-old Jason Meade with 2 counts of murder and 1 count of reckless homicide. This Saturday will mark the 1-year anniversary death of Casey Goodson. He was a 23-year-old man, unarmed, and he was shot several times in the back. Meade's attorney says that Goodson pointed a gun at him, but a weapon was never found. And just a few minutes ago, the Franklin County Sheriff's releasing a statement on Twitter saying in part, quote, "After the grand jury indictment today, I've reminded my staff that while everyone is presumed innocent until proven guilty, the standards for being a Franklin County Sheriff's deputy must be even higher than that of our criminal justice system." And that is basically the talk of the town right here just inside the courthouse. A lot of law enforcement officers just talking about that specific case. And also we're hearing at 11 o'clock this morning, Casey Goodson's family is expected to speak with the media. So of course we'll have much more coming up at noon. Guys, back to you.
As you all know at this point, former Franklin County Sheriff's Deputy Jason Meade has been indicted for the murder of Casey Goodson Jr. This road has been long. This road has been hard. Cannot begin to tell you what this family has gone through over the last year. But I can tell you that they have shown resiliency. They have shown extreme courage in the face of dire circumstances. And so as we stand here today, we would like to thank not only the Central Ohio community, but this entire country for standing with this family as they fight for accountability for the murder of Casey. As you all know, this indictment comes nearly 1 year to the date of Casey's murder. And it comes after a grand jury heard the facts and the evidence in this case, and they decided that based on those facts and the evidence that they were privy to, that based on that information, they felt that there was probable cause. And I'm glad we can laugh today because
I'll try to hang it up. I'm sorry.
No, it's all right. It's your day. So
I tried to hang it up, y'all. I'm sorry. It's okay.
So we now know that based on the facts and the evidence that the grand jury heard, that they believe that there's probable cause to believe that a murder occurred. And the facts and the evidence that we believe was presented to the grand jury is the same information that we have provided to the public since December 4th, 2020. We know that on that day, Casey was simply trying to make it home. We know that Casey was so close to being right there next to his family. We know that Casey deserves to be here. We know more than anything else that Jason Meade should be held accountable for Casey's murder. And so while we celebrate this win, we know that this journey is not over. We know that the ultimate end game is a conviction for the murder of Casey Goodson. And so as we stand here today, we again thank this entire country for the support that has been shown to this family based on the facts and the evidence that we have provided to you all. In addition to the criminal indictment that has been handed down today, we've also filed a federal civil rights lawsuit against Jason Meade in Franklin County. Obviously, we know what Jason Meade's liability is here. He was an individual that targeted, pursued, and shot and killed Casey from behind walking into his own home. But Franklin County is also liable for Jason Meade's actions. And not just because they employed Jason Meade, but because they trained Jason Meade. They supervised Jason Meade. They allowed Jason Meade to operate with impunity. They allowed a sheriff's deputy who was on a no contact with inmates list for nearly 4 years to come off that list and join the SWAT team. They enabled a sheriff's deputy with a volatile history to carry a rifle and to focus his training on firearms qualifications instead of de-escalation. And so on December 4th, 2020, Jason Meade did exactly what he was trained to do while supervised by the Franklin County Sheriff's Office. And so with that federal civil rights lawsuit, we are alleging excessive force, wrongful death, and a Monell claim, which is a claim against the county for their patterns and practices and the customs that led to Casey's murder. And so at this point, I will allow Casey's mother, Casey's amazingly strong and courageous mother, Tamala Payne, to speak. And after that, we'll do Q&A.
Of course, as y'all know, it's been a journey. It's been a year. It's been a year of sadness. It's been a year of grief, a year of pain. But all I know that every day of this year that my family and I wake up, all we know to do is fight and fight for what's right. Casey was wrongfully murdered on December 4th of 2020 by a man filled with hate, a man that preached hate. I'm not quite sure what God he preached to or preached about or even worship, but the God that my family and I pray to and worship and praise is a just God, a God of righteousness. We've done everything right from the beginning. We've told the truth from the beginning. There were no body cameras. There were no eyewitnesses. This was footwork. This was an amazing investigation done by the DOJ. This was hours spent in. We asked for peace. We asked for love. We asked to do it for unity. We never wanted Casey's name to be tainted. And so in doing everything right and following the lead of the Lord, his word prevailed. And it will continue to prevail as long as we continue to do the right thing. Casey was doing the right thing and was wrongfully executed. I'm overwhelmed with joy. My emotions are everywhere. We did it, y'all. We did. We did it, you know. Jason Meade has been a monster for a very, very long time. His truths are revealed, and that's what we're here today for, the truth. And that's why we're here today, because of the truth. And we just ask everybody to continue to stand with us, continue to pray for us. We are fully aware that this is only the beginning of the fight. This was the first part of the fight. The ultimate fight is the conviction, and I want a life sentence. That's what I'm fighting for. And I believe that I'll get it. I'll get it as long as I stay the course and do what's right and allow God to lead. And we will always and forever, every single day of our lives, my family and I will always scream, what is it, y'all? Justice for Casey! We did it.
We'll now take questions from you all.
Mom, can you tell us where exactly you were when you heard word about this, and just what was going through your mind exactly, like that exact moment?
I was at work. I was at my second job, and my 5-year-old called me, and I couldn't understand him. I didn't know what he said, so I believe, if I remember correctly, I hung up and I called Janae. I called my daughter, and I asked her what was going on, and I could just hear Casey been shot. Casey been shot. I'm like, well, who shot him? Who shot Casey? Like, it was like, who would shoot Casey? Like, and I just ran out of my job.
And I mean, word of Jason Meade, his indictment. When did you get word of that, and what was going through your mind at that point?
This morning.
This morning?
This morning. I knew it was coming. I knew it was close. I knew I've stood on faith from the beginning and just pray, have faith, and do the work. I knew it was coming eventually. Patience is not something that I have. So I've learned a great deal of patience through this ordeal. I've given a lot, so I knew it was coming.
And is there any, you mentioned that this is just the start of the fight. Is there any fear that, obviously, you and your family, you want to see a conviction in this case. Is there any fear that that may not happen? Because sometimes in these cases, that's what we see.
Absolutely not. Jason Meade will be held accountable for what he did.
And Tamala, you've never wavered on that. You've always been strong, thinking that this will happen, this indictment would happen, a conviction will happen. And one of the other important things that you were very, very concerned about protecting Casey's reputation. You did not want him portrayed in a way that was not him. How do you feel this indictment goes with that story, protecting his reputation?
It shows that Casey was exactly who we say Casey is. I don't like to talk about Casey in the past tense. Casey is exactly who we say he is. Casey was a good son. Casey was a loving son. Casey was a good grandson. Casey was a good brother. Casey was a good role model, a good leader. Casey was exactly who we portrayed Casey to be. And we have double murder charges and a reckless homicide with no body cameras, no eyewitnesses. So I think that speaks for itself.
Sean, can you explain the double murder charges? How does that work?
Yeah, so I will defer to the special prosecutors to explain their charges, but our understanding is there are different elements of those murder charges, and so based on the facts and evidence, they believe that those charges were warranted as the grand jury found.
And can you tell us on the federal lawsuit, was that filed today?
Yes, that was filed this morning. It's something that we have been working on since December 4th, 2020, not the lawsuit, but the investigation and the call for accountability. And unfortunately, as we see, we cannot indict Jason Meade under our own power, but what we can do is we can use the civil justice system to bring some level of accountability to this family. Again, I won't say justice just because we all know justice will be Casey being here, but Jason Meade will be held accountable. And Casey's death and that accountability will lead to justice for others.
Specifically, what are you seeking in the lawsuit? You mentioned that it's a wrongful death, that excessive force. But what's the positive outcome for you out of that lawsuit?
The positive outcome would be the case being resolved in a way, whether that's at trial or through a settlement of some sort, but the county acknowledging their responsibility and their role in this, and Jason Meade being held accountable on a civil level as well as a criminal level.
Is that lawsuit being filed today, or is it out already? Is it a complete coincidence that it's happening on the day of the indictment?
So it is filed already. There are certain claims that we have included in that lawsuit that have a 1-year statute of limitations. And so whether this lawsuit, so this indictment was not the cause for the filing today. That 1-year statute of limitations was the reason that we filed today.
There was no body camera video in this. Is this indictment, do you think, also a message that you want all law enforcement across the state of Ohio to have body camera video so that in cases like this happens again, it can be recorded so people can actually see what happened?
Well, we don't want police officers across the country to murder innocent people. That's first and foremost. And so whether body cameras are present or not, there are ways around that, right? That's not the end-all be-all. Body cameras don't tell the full story. So we hope that this does not happen. Through the work that we do, we demand that, this accountability comes forth and it prevents future officers from taking similar actions, but body cameras won't do it. We have to look at what's in the hearts of these officers and what their training is like, and again, as we talk about Franklin County and how Jason Meade was enabled to take Casey's life, it centers around an entire culture that needs to be addressed, not just body cameras.
I think a lot of people watching want to know, why did an indictment take a whole year to come down?
That's something that we can't answer. What we can say is that we have never stopped pushing throughout this year. We have told the same story from day one. We have continued to tell the story of what happened to Casey. And unfortunately, Casey is not here to tell that story for himself. Only one person can tell that story, and that person has been silent since December 4th, 2020. And so, what we know is that it's incredibly difficult to indict and convict a police officer. The process has to play out, and our ultimate goal is a conviction. And so, that's the end game here, and everything happens for a reason. I think there's a powerful symbolism with this happening when you're out, and that's to show that no matter how much time passes, the truth will prevail.
Okay.
What does an indictment mean? Is he in jail right now? What does that look like going forward for the day?
Our understanding is that he's turned himself in, and he'll have an arraignment, and he'll deal with the criminal process. Again, we do not have any control over that, so we don't know what that timing looks like. We defer to the special prosecutors on that.
Yeah, his attorney has said that if there was a gun pointed at his deputy, which is why he fired his weapon, now that there's been an indictment for murder, what do you think about that statement today?
It was a lie like it was from the jump. Casey never pointed a gun at murderer Meade. So, but, that's the lie that he told, because that's what he's trained to tell. That's, that's how they get off on murdering innocent people. It was a lie. We know it was a lie. And now y'all know it was a lie. Casey's going to make history. Casey is making history.
Timberlake, when you heard about the indictment, did you say anything to Casey? I know you talked to him, and he's in your prayers. What was through your mind?
We got him.
What did you say to him?
It's all right. We got him. We got him. I'm very aware that it takes a lot to indict an officer, even with body cameras, even with witnesses. It takes a lot to get these crooked cops. And so we got him.
The criminal justice process, do you expect that to go hand in hand and help with the civil process, or drag the civil process out longer?
So our belief is that they're independent. There are different standards of liability, different burdens of proof. And so our role as civil rights attorneys is to make sure that Jason Meade is held accountable for the constitutional violations that he inflicted upon Casey, that led to his death. And so our process will be our process. We will work through the federal, justice system, and we will aggressively pursue this. This is something that, we do have some level of control over. And so regardless of how the criminal process plays out, the facts and the evidence remain the same across both of these legal cases.
Sean, multiple jurisdictions were looking into this case and investigating. Are you expecting or anticipating any more indictments?
Our understanding is that the federal investigation is not closed. It's an open federal investigation. Again, we defer to the federal prosecutors with regard to that. Again, the facts and the evidence remain the same across all of these different areas of law, all these different, the civil justice system, the criminal justice system, the federal, the state. Casey Goodson Jr. was shot 6 times from behind walking into his home. So Jason Meade should be held accountable in every possible way that there is. So any avenue that we can pursue, we will.
Tamala, I want to ask you about the support that you've been getting. Obviously, we see your family members here. You're strong. Some of the support that you've been getting from the community. Just how has that support from family, from the community, helped you to get through this past year?
It helps a lot because, every day ain't your best day. Like my sister, she'll call me every day. And sometimes me looking forward to her phone call, like, I'll expect her to call by 3 o'clock, and she won't call by 3 o'clock. I'm like, hold up, where's she at? Because I'm looking forward to that phone call. It helps. Sometimes I'm not the best every day. I don't wake up every day feeling like going through the day. So words of encouragement or just somebody check, it helps. It gives you the boost that you need to keep going, because sometimes it's not easy.
And we had a little laugh at the beginning of this press conference when you got that call. Just talk about some of those calls and texts you've been getting, because word has been spreading about this pretty fast. Just tell us about some of the calls and texts you've been getting.
My phone won't leave me alone today. It's going crazy. But, everybody's happy. We've all fought for it. The family, our team of lawyers, the community. So, everybody's elated at this point and want to reach out and congratulations. And, so I understand. I just can't get to all of them, but it's okay.
Did anyone from the family address the grand jury?
No, we had no role whatsoever in the grand jury. We don't know what was presented. We have no information there. But, you know, we are grateful that the grand jurors were able to, you know, hear the facts and the evidence in this case and to come to the decision that they did.
So you folks weren't invited to participate at all?
We were not. You know, and frankly, nobody from the family was present at the actual shooting scene. And so there's probably one person that would have been invited, and I'm not sure if he testified or not, but aside from Jason Meade's testimony, the evidence here prevailed, but no, we had no role in the grand jury process.
Can you, are all of these folks family members or some friends? I mean, how would you describe them?
Everybody's family. The majority you see here is Casey's siblings. And then, you know, we're all family. Grandmother, auntie, siblings, cousins, like, it's all family. Girlfriend, family. No friends right now.
Is there anything anyone else would like to say that you would, anyone from the family? Anyone?
Right. So again, this the federal civil rights lawsuit has been filed, so it is public record. It's 23 pages. It outlines in detail our claims, you know, the facts of what happened that day, background on Jason Meade, and why Franklin County is liable for allowing Jason Meade to operate in the fashion that he did. We also have a forensics expert that we have retained who does a 3D visual of the impacts to Casey's body. And they all come from behind, and it meshes with what we've said from day one, that as Casey returned home, that he was targeted, he was shot from behind, and he was murdered. And unfortunately, the family that you guys asked about was present in the home. There were 9 people present that day. And so since that day, they've been traumatized. They've had to deal with this daily sadness and grief for nearly a year. And so this day could not come soon enough, but they stayed strong, they never wavered, and they told the truth, and the truth will prevail in this case.
So just to clarify, there were 9 people in Casey's grandmother's house when this happened, is that what you said?
Correct.
All family members?
Yes, and there were 4 minor children. There was a 10-year-old and 3 other children under the age of 5. They're 5 and under.
Ms. Penn, what is in your heart right now?
I can't say that my heart is full, because my heart will be full once he's convicted. But I'm happy. We're a step closer. I feel like we're there. This is what we needed. So I'm happy. I'm happy. I know Casey's happy.
Seeing no further questions, you can reach out to the attorneys in this case, and we are happy to provide any updates or information that we can. Again, the lawsuit does outline many of our allegations in this case, and we look forward to this criminal process playing out. And today is a day about accountability, and that's what this family has asked for since day one. And nearly 1 year to the date, we are on the road to that accountability. Thank you all.
Still lots of reaction pouring into the newsroom, including from Meade's former boss, Franklin County Sheriff Dallas Baldwin. He releasing this statement right here on Twitter, saying in part, after the grand jury indictment today, I've reminded my staff that while everyone is presumed innocent until proven guilty, the standards for being a Franklin County Sheriff's deputy must be even higher than that of our criminal justice system. We're also hearing from Casey Goodson's family. Rodney Dunnigan just met with them. And Rodney, what do they have to say about this?
Well, Jackie, let me tell you, as you can imagine, it has been a very emotional morning for the family of Casey Goodson. For the past year now, they have been calling for what they say is justice, and they feel they are one step closer to actually getting that justice. In fact, his mother spoke with me just about 30 minutes ago on this podium right behind me. Take a listen to what she had to say.
Of course, as y'all know, it's been a journey. It's been a year. It's been a year of sadness. It's been a year of grief, a year of pain. But all I know that every day of this year that my family and I wake up, all we know to do is fight.
Just how has that support from family, from the community? And as you heard Tamala Payne there discussing all of this, and obviously she says she's thankful for the support that she's receiving from not only the community, but also her family. She had about 15 family members here with her, and they say obviously this indictment is just the start. This fight will continue. Coming up tonight at 5, we'll hear more from the family as well as attorneys on where this case goes from here. For now, reporting live, Rodney Dunnigan, ABC 6 News.
All right, thanks, Rodney. Meade's attorney, Mark Collins, released a statement a short time ago as well, outlining the former deputy's side of the story. He says Meade was on assignment with the U.S. Marshals Fugitive Strike Team, and he saw Goodson drive by holding a gun with an extended magazine. Meade says he saw Goodson point the gun at another driver. When Meade followed Goodson onto the porch of a house, Collins says Meade saw Goodson with a gun in his right hand, a plastic bag in his left. Goodson's family says he had picked up sandwiches for lunch. Collins says Meade told Goodson to put down the gun, but instead Goodson pointed it at Meade and fired.